Hey guys, welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome to the Just Jodie podcast. Today I'm going to be doing something different, and by that I mean I'm going to be reading Reddit stories today, because I want to actually give you guys something, instead of like a 5-minute episode of me talking nonsense. So, I'm going to be reading Reddit stories today. I'm going to be reading Am I the A-hole stories. I'm not going to say the big bad word, because YouTube will be all over me about that, so before I get into it though, I want to tell you guys, I made my boyfriend watch Harry Potter, and we're on the last 2 films because we're having to we can't watch them all day every day because we're both busy people, and he's avoided them for 19 years. He's 19 years old. He's avoided them for 19 years. I get him watching them and he's enjoying it, and he's like, oh, I always thought that I'd find them boring. I'm like, you never know unless you try. And he's like, oh yeah, I tried and I didn't enjoy it, but yeah, I love Harry Potter. Anyway, let's get into the stories. So the first one is called, Am I the a-hole for putting my roommate's dishes in a box instead of washing them? Already, I'm gonna say no, but I'm gonna be giving my opinion at the very end of the story, which it's long, so bear with my reading. I struggle reading. No, I'm not dyslexic. I've just always, when I'm reading something, I'll jump ahead. So anyway, let's get into it. I, 24 male, live with 2 roommates, Mike, 25 male, and Dan, 24 male. We've lived together for about 8 months, and overall things are pretty normal, except one problem. Mike apparently believes dishes are a communal responsibility regardless of who uses them. No, you use it, you wash it. Anyway, Mike never washes his dishes, like, ever. He'll cook a full meal, use literally everything in the kitchen, then pile everything into the sink and walk away. At first, Dan and I would just wash things because we needed to use the kitchen, but after a while it became obvious that Mike had figured out he could simply wait us out. If I've read that wrong, I'm not understanding what you've just said, but anyway. We talked to him about it several times. Nothing dramatic. He agreed every time. Then he'd do it for maybe 2 days before going right back to normal. A few weeks ago, I stopped washing his dishes entirely. That created a new problem because Mike would just let them sit there, sometimes for 4 or 5 days. That is gross. I'm just gonna say that is gross. Anyway, he'd complain that there were no clean plates, and I'd point out that most of the dirty ones belonged to him. His response was always something like, well, somebody needs to wash them. I told him that somebody doesn't have to be me. He laughed the first time I said it. Last week, I finally got fed up. Mike cooked dinner, and left basically the entire kitchen covered in dirty dishes. There was a pan with dried food stuck to it, 2 plates, a bowl, several utensils, and a bunch of cups. Okay. I needed to cook something myself, so I cleaned the counters and put all of Mike's dirty dishes into a large cardboard box. I applaud you for that. I wish I could do that. I didn't throw anything away. I didn't damage anything. I just put his dirty dishes into a box and moved the box into the corner of the kitchen. Then I put a note on it. Dan saw it and absolutely lost it laughing. Mike came home about an hour later and asked where all his dishes were. I pointed at the box. He said it for a second and said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yep. I needed the sink and counter space, and I'm not washing your dishes anymore." He said I was being childish and passive-aggressive. Sure, bro. I told him that I'd asked him multiple times to wash his own dishes and that I wasn't throwing them away or refusing to let him use them. I had literally just gathered his dirty dishes into one place so the kitchen could be usable. He said the box was disrespectful and that roommates shouldn't treat each other like that. I pointed out that leaving your dirty dishes for days and expecting someone else to wash them is also pretty disrespectful. He eventually took the box to his room. Now he barely speaks to me. Dan thinks it's hilarious and says I shouldn't have done it. I should have done it months ago. Sorry, can't read. Mike apparently told a mutual friend that I'm obsessed with dishes and that I made a huge deal out of nothing. I honestly don't think putting someone's own dirty dishes into a box is that serious, but maybe I was being unnecessarily petty. Am I the a-hole? Personally, no, because I'm going through the exact same situation at mine because I live with roommates. And I usually will always have to clean the dishes. And then I just stopped because my partner was like, yeah, just don't do them anymore. And so instead now I just have my own dishes in my own room and I'll clean them in my own time. Like I have a little washing up bowl and I'll take it down and then bring it back up. And I don't do any of the dishes anymore. So personally, no, you are not the a-hole. Your roommate is for always expecting you to do the dishes and not taking responsibility for his own belongings. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for wanting respect? Right now, my family is going through a tough time. My parents are in the process of getting a divorce, and we find ourselves living between the homes of my 2 uncles, who are my mum's brothers. This story unfolds at my younger uncle's house, where he lives with his wife and children. We're grateful to stay here rent-free as we're escaping an abusive and toxic environment. In exchange for their hospitality, we contribute to groceries as much as we can, but it's still a difficult adjustment. The middle child of my uncle's family approached me, holding my conditioner, explaining that it had spilled. Upon closer inspection, it was clear that the bottle had been maliciously squeezed, as it's designed in a way that prevents accidental spillage. It had a flip-top cap that you open first and then squeeze to get product out. Upset and stressed, I confronted the kids, asking if they had done it. They all said no, and I let it go and went to work. Later that night, as we were preparing for bed, I noticed that someone had opened the shampoo bottle, filled it with water. Again, the design of the bottle made it impossible for this to happen by accident. Someone would have had to turn the top of the bottle until it opened and then put water into it. The opening that dispenses shampoo is too small for water to get into, and no water got in when I was showering. I calmly discussed my frustrations with my mom, explaining how unfair it felt. Suddenly my aunt appeared, furious, insisting that our kids were innocent and that it was my fault for not keeping my things in my room. Her logic baffled me. The children are old enough to understand boundaries, yet she dismissed the situation entirely. She stated that if I simply kept my shampoo and conditioner in my room, then this wouldn't have happened, so I shared my sister's experience, where the expensive lip mask in her room was also tampered with, but my aunt refused to acknowledge her child's wrongdoing. My sister didn't take that lip mask out of the room or take it to the other uncle's house. The lip mask was used up and whatever was remaining was smeared on the cap. My aunt's kids are 9, 8, and 7, and the oldest has an e-bike that goes upwards of 35 kilometers an hour, which in the province of, because you have to be at least 16 years old to ride. I don't understand how he's old enough to ride that fast of an e-bike every day, but when mine and my sister's things get ruined, she states that kids will be kids. The situation feels frustrating, especially considering that my other uncle's son once broke my brother's item and was made to replace it. I can't help but wonder why accountability seems to be absent in this case. All I wanted was for my items and my sister's item to be replaced. A simple cash in hand or e-transfer would do. If you were in my shoes, how would you handle this? I'd love to hear your thoughts. First of all, you're not the a-hole, okay? And at 8, 9, and 7 years of age, they are old enough to understand consequences and boundaries. I have a 9-year-old and 5-year-old little brother, and even they understand boundaries. And if they tamper with stuff, they will be made to replace it, which has happened before. But yeah, you're not the a-hole. And if I was in your shoes, I would probably talk to the uncle. If your aunt's being, refusing to take accountability and be like, oh, but kids are kids. Which, no, kids are not kids. Kids will do kid things. But most of the time, kids are observant and they watch what you do. And they will usually copy what mum and dad do, so... yeah, I don't really know. Even if you, I just saw someone be like, you're living there rent-free, so, just not the point. whether you live there rent-free or not, it should not deter whether or not you have your stuff tampered with and no respect given to you. That's not an argument. Okay. Anyway, not the a-hole. Next story. Would I be the a-hole for asking my friends to order an extra pizza just for me? So oftentimes when me and my friends get together, usually for a movie night or similar, we'll order a pizza from either Little Caesars or Domino's. We all agree on the type of pizza because we're all a fan of classic pepperoni. The problem with this, though, is that I never think they order enough. In a group of 4 of us, they'd normally order just one pizza and maybe some breadsticks. Anytime I suggest that they order more sides or just more in general, they tend to just ignore me or say that one is definitely enough. In the past, they've all commented on how they think I eat too much in general, not necessarily in regards to pizza because we split it evenly and get 2 slices each. Like when we go to restaurants together, they'll usually say something about how they think I order way too much, even though I always finish it all. For reference, if I'm ordering for myself, I'll eat an entire large Little Caesars pizza. So whenever they get a single pizza for everyone, I end up feeling hungry for the night. I'm not overweight or like a huge glutton. Heck, I weigh like 140 pounds at 5'11". So I really am just eating enough to sustain myself. Whoever is hosting movie night or another similar event pays for the pizza and we rotate hosts pretty evenly. That's not flexible and they're all pretty stubborn about the host paying, so I can't offer to pay for my share. So part of me thinks that it isn't fair for me to ask one of my friends to order a whole extra pizza just because I feel I eat a lot more than they do. My question is, would I be the a-hole if I started asking them to order an extra pizza just for myself? They've all already expressed that they think I eat too much, so I don't really want to make them uncomfortable. And if I'm not hosting, I would be making someone pay for a pizza that I only eat. I don't really know. This one's tricky. Why would it only have to be just for you? Why can't you just order more? I mean, really, if you're going through like hosts, couldn't you just order your own separately? I don't really know. I'm gonna say yes, you are the a-hole. Simply because, like, why are you expecting them to demand, like, why are you demanding someone pays for an entire pizza, which ordering a pizza into a house isn't cheap, at least in the UK. I'm guessing that one's American because of Little Caesars. We don't have that here. So it adds up pretty quickly, like the pricing, especially if it's every single time you do it, everyone is having like 3 slices each, whereas you get like a whole pizza, which is 8 slices to yourself. I don't know. I mean, sure, you could like order yourself your own. Like when you're hosting, you order yourself a pizza and then them a pizza, but then I don't know. I'm gonna say you are though, because you can't expect someone to pay out like 12. How much is pizza? Like $12? I don't really know. I'm not from America. I think it's like £12 here for like a large pizza. No, it's not. How much is a large pizza here? I think it's like £15, which is like 18, 19, maybe $20. I'm gonna say you are though. I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, I'm gonna stay with that. I'm sorry. I'm not really sorry though, because I'm sorry, AP. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to say you are. That one was really like, I mean, if you're hungry at the end, you can just buy yourself something from like a shop or something, or order yourself like your own pizzas in. Because again, if like someone else is paying, I wouldn't expect someone to order me something if we're sharing. Like if me and my partner are buying pizzas and we're ordering in pizzas, I wouldn't expect him to order me a whole large pizza just for me. That's just personal. Like if I wanted a whole pizza to myself, I'd order it myself, or I'd pay my share. I wouldn't, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry, OP, you're the a-hole in this situation. I think this is going to be the last one, okay? Am I the a-hole for sending my girlfriend an Amazon ad for a plus-size bikini suit? I'm already going to say no, just based off the title, because it's an ad. Anyway, so I may have screwed up a bit today. I, 33 male, sent my girlfriend, 30 female, an ad for a bathing suit and asked her, if I bought this for you, would you wear it? She immediately asked if I was calling her fat and wanted to know why I sent her a plus-sized bikini ad. Now, for context, my girlfriend is not fat. She is a healthy weight, maybe just slightly over, but I can't really say much because I'm overweight myself. The truth is, I just really love seeing her in bright colours and wanted to find a nice bikini since she didn't have any. I typed pink and green bikini into the Amazon search bar and the first ad I saw was $34. Then I scrolled down and saw one featuring a plus-size model that was half the price of the first one. Without thinking, I just grabbed the link to the cheaper one, sent her the ad and asked if she'd wear it. I didn't even register what the ad said, I was just looking at the colours and the price tag. Now she thinks I'm making a dig at her weight. I tried showing her the first ad I looked at to prove that the actual dimensions and size and numbers are exactly the same on both listings. The only difference was the model in the picture and the wording of the ads. She hasn't answered me yet and now I'm stuck waiting. I honestly can't tell if she was just teasing me or if she was genuinely upset. What should my next move be here? Do I leave it alone or send a follow-up? First of all, you are not the a-hole in the situation because you cannot control the ads. Ads will feature random pictures of like a model. So, yeah, like, you're not the a-hole because people who make the ads now are also just including more plus size models because inclusivity. You can't help that. You genuinely can't help that. There's an update. She was a little bit upset but mostly chalked it up to me being dumb. Accurate. She also said she'd wear it if I buy it, and if she doesn't like it I'll never see it on her again. Fair enough. But yeah, you're not the a-hole in that, OP, I promise. Say, if like what you were saying were true, you were just looking at the price tag and the colours, then you're definitely not the a-hole. Because like if you see something that you like the look of and you're going to send it to your partner, the size of the model should not matter. But yeah, you're not the a-hole in that, OP. And with that concludes today's episode. If you enjoyed me reading Reddit stories, please let me know and I'll continue to do it. Even if you want to like suggest subreddits for me to go into, me to read stories, or even if you like want me to read something specific, like a specific story, then yeah, let me know. I will try to find a way for you to be able to contact me if you need to. But until then, I hope you have a good day and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.